The matter stems from 2019, where Shanti Nanan, then 76 years old, traveled to the United States to care for her ailing husband. Months later, TNT's COVID-19 border closure left her stranded abroad. When she finally returned home in January of 2021, the deadline to exchange the old $100 cotton banknotes for the polymer notes had already passed. She discovered $10,000 in her personal effects, money the central bank flatly refused to redeem. Sadly, Nanan passed away in 2024, but her family fought on, taking the state to court via a constitutional motion. They retained attorney at law Anand Ram Logan, senior counsel, to put forward their claim. The state heavily resisted the lawsuit, arguing that currency matters fall under national security and that Nanan should have pursued standard judicial review. However, critical evidence uncovered during the proceedings blew the state's defense apart. Under the Central Bank Act, the Minister of Finance, who was Colman Burt at the time, holds the legal power to extend the deadline for citizens facing circumstances beyond their control. But a Freedom of Information request revealed that between 2019 and 2024, 94 citizens in desperate situations had applied for this extension, but not a single one was granted. In a damning 35-page judgment handed down on June 12th, Justice Devendra Rampersad threw out the state's arguments. The judge ruled that running a hardship mechanism behind a procedural vacuum of completely secret criteria strips away all due process. Rampersad stated, quote, "A statutory power to relieve deserving cases operated as a settled and invariable refusal behind criteria that were never formulated, much less published, is not the exercise of a discretion at all. It is precisely the species of arbitrariness which takes a complaint out of the ordinary run of administrative law and into the realm of the Constitution." End quote. Justice Rampersad found that the state was guilty of breaching Nanan's constitutional right to enjoyment of property and the protection of law. The High Court has ordered the Attorney General to pay Nanan's estate $10,000 in compensatory damages, the exact face value of her lost savings plus interest, an additional $30,000 in vindicatory damages to publicly mark the gravity of the state's breach and to deter future administrative overreach. Legal commentators say the ruling sets a powerful precedent, proving that even in times of national crisis, the government cannot hide behind a veil of secrecy to deprive citizens of their fundamental rights. Nanan's case follows that of Rihanna Lorick and Joanne Panton versus DAG. Panton had applied for an individual travel exemption to return home, but received only generic acknowledgements.
How can I continue? I don't step outside from where I am. I want to come home.
Senior counsel Ram Logan won that case on behalf of the litigants.
The Court of Appeal found that Stuart Young acted in breach of their constitutional rights because he had not published any policy, criteria, or given any guidance regarding the process to get a special permit from him to be able to return home.
He tells us many more people were affected through the demonetization of the $100 banknotes, but were unaware that applications could have been filed to the Minister of Finance.
They will now be able to file cases and claims against the state to be able to vindicate their constitutional rights. I call upon Finance Minister Dave Tanku and Prime Minister the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar to demonstrate some compassion and show some mercy to these aggrieved citizens.
The senior counsel asks that they be allowed to redeem the money for legitimate sources of income. Alicia Boucher, TV6 News.